into the cartoon that everyone sees the Senate, and allow me to ask Senator Eddy here, that as an institution, you probably never had the power to begin with. Do you agree that probably the Senate, in as far as devolution is concerned, is the weakest link? That even the Council of Governors sees the Senate almost like a non-entity?
Fred, we are in a country that is not dissimilar to any other country. And we've got arms of government that play different roles. The Senate is not the executive, and the Senate is not the judiciary. The Senate is part of what is written in Article 94 as Parliament of Kenya, whose work is to make laws, oversight, and represent the people. Okay? And you do that within the structures of law. To the extent that you exhaust every power given to you under that mandate, then you're performing well. It's actually, you know, it's like you've given me coffee. I've just woken up in the morning, listening to Wakili. I don't know where he comes from. I don't know where he lives, if he even lives in this country. If he doesn't see the kind of public waste that we are seeing with these governors, every single year in this country, we are creating 47 billionaires.
The issue is the Senate able to check
and that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going, to trivialize that fight against that impunity with governors, however little the Senate is doing, to trivialize that, and then now blame the senators for not doing their work and close your eyes on that impunity is virtually wrong. But that said, I'll forgive him for that.
No. Please don't accuse me because I haven't.
No,
because you're accusing me.
When you're talking, I was quiet.
But I wasn't accusing you. But I wasn't accusing you.
What do you feel he has accused you of?
He's saying that I have endorsed, as it were, the largesse by these governors. I haven't.
I don't think he said that.
I haven't. That because, I'll tell you why he said that. He said that because...
That's what you misapprehend, I say.
I'm not misapprehending. I was listening to you very carefully because you are pointing hands at senators as having been the weakest link for these governors to continue.
That was my question.
And this is what I'm saying to you, Fred. The way, and I want Wakili to understand the way the Senate works.
I know.
Audit, you don't, because I've listened to you. Audit reports are done every year and sent to the Senate by the Auditor General.
By law.
There are two watchdog committees in the Senate. There is one called CPIC, which he doesn't understand. CPIC looks at very specific investments in counties, starting with water, companies in counties, and all the other entities like funds created by counties. And then you go to hospitals, and then you go to municipalities and cities. And then there is executive reports of the Senate that are done by PAC, and that's what PAC looks at. Now, those two watchdog committees, their role is limited to audit queries raised by the Auditor General by the end of every year. Mm-hmm. So after examination of them, the Senate pronounces itself by making recommendations to bodies that are supposed to take care of any breaches of law in those audit queries. One of those bodies is EACC. Number 2 is DCI. Number 3 is ODPP. Okay? Those three bodies is the bodies that the Senate does recommendations of breaches of law to the extent that they will be found culpable. Now, the question Wakili should have asked us, in all the audit reports we have gone through, have we made those recommendations to EACC?
Have they been followed up?
Have you made the recommendations?
Let me just make...
Don't follow up the recommendations. Like the EACC, you never did what we recommended.
Okay.
You summoned them.
Why do you fear knowledge? I am just educating you.
I thrive in knowledge.
So, once we have done those recommendations, I'm not personal.
Yeah.
I want you to be a good listener, because we're not going to allow any Kenyan who is going to play in this politics of governance, wasting public resources, and then playing it on claiming some things on Senate.
Senator, okay. So, Senator, if I hear you right, Senator, you're saying the Senate has done
its part in terms of being able to pronounce itself on all these matters and forward them to EACC. By the way, Fred, you need to know, and the public needs to know, that among our partners who sit, we have allowed them, by pass of parliament, to sit in our committees, is EACC. They have a representation in all these watchdog committees.
Okay.
We are now seeking for even DCI to come in our committee, but National Treasury, Auditor General's office sits in our committee.
And we'll examine the action by the governors. I want to examine the action by the Senate.
That's what I'm finishing. So in as much as we have put all our pronouncement to the right institutions to deal with the corruption and graft that we have identified in those reports. We have done that part. So now, where is the next role of the senator in terms of keeping governors accountable? Where, for instance, MCAs have taken charge of a report or any issue around graft and have gone to impeach a governor, okay? Then the senators come back and then pronounce themselves into holding these people accountable. How many governors, deputy governors, and even ministers have been impeached, okay, on the basis of this report?
Right.
There are many of them,
Nyoto,
more than
before I come to Madam Pasaris,
by the Senate.
Senator Nyoto, the Council of Governors has raised serious questions, and they've said there's extortion in the Senate.
It's propaganda.
Yet, you cannot dismiss them because no one...
You had the platform.
What action has the Senate taken? Because the members accused belong to the Senate. We've not had the Speaker say anything. He's been very silent on that matter. Don't you think that in that silence, the Senate, as an institution, has already failed? This conflict has existed for months.
Thank you, Fred. And, I want to thank Senator Eddy for putting the issue, the matters very straight. And because actually we have a role as Senate. And